Hello and welcome to the video. My name is Malachi Frost. Before I jump on a plane and head on over for my annual trip through Amsterdam, London and up to Edinburgh, I thought I'd give you guys a little bit of a chance to ask a few questions. This is the pick of the pick. These are the best questions that came through on Discord, Twitter, Instagram and Facebook. First question comes from Jamison Jackson. Does Malachi like coconuts? That is a very good question and not a question anyone's thought to ask. I was starting to think no one cared. I do like coconut. I like the flavor of coconut anyway, and I like fresh coconut. When I was in Vanuatu, and there's a whole bunch of Vanuatu stories in one of the Darksiders episodes, but I'm not sure whether I mentioned this. We would be working pretty hard. It's very humid there. We'd be sweating a lot. And then around lunchtime, the locals would rock up with a whole bunch of fresh coconut. They would chop the tops off the coconut, give it to us. We'd drink the fresh coconut water, then eat the really nice, gooey, fresh flesh of the coconut. That kind of coconut I like. Coconut flavorings in ice cream and chocolate is brilliant. Dried coconut, can't stand it. Gets stuck in my throat. I hate the stuff. No. Lishfish on Discord asks, what's a weird trait you have? Do you mean like physical traits or just weird habits? I mean, I got blue hair, that's a physical trait. I got bad eyes, that's a physical trait. I got a giant nose, that's a physical trait. If you mean like weird habits, I think the most identifiable thing, so like in Goblet of Fire, where Barty Crouch Jr. kept doing the tongue thing, and that's how you kind of could guess that it was him playing Mad Eye Moody. If you ever think someone's stolen my body, this is the thing to look for. Can I go 10 minutes without doing that and cracking my neck? If you can watch it, and it goes for at least 10 minutes when I'm not performing, because when I'm performing I don't do it sometimes. But if I can go, if the fake me can go 10 minutes without cracking his neck, it's probably not me. That'd probably be the most identifiable trait. Over on Twitter, Dat Aspie asks, I know you're a sword swallower, but do you perform any other sideshow acts? Let's list them. We started off with magic. We then went into juggling. I also went into contortion, going through tennis rackets, so popping the shoulder out and doing a lot of body stuff, which then led into straitjacket and chain escape. We also do the human blockhead, which is hammering and drilling up into the skull via the nasal cavity. There is videos on the channel. If you look up power drill lobotomy, there's a video. Also in a past Q&A video, I stuck my glasses up my nose. So we've got that. We've got fire eating, fire trails, a lot of fire spinning, handstands on glass, walking on glass, laying on a bed of nails, eating glass, riding unicycles, chin balancing. So if I can lift it, I can balance it on my face, equilibrious stuff, and a whole bunch of other small routines or small tricks that I kind of throw into other routines. So there's a little bit, there's a few things to pick from if you're planning on throwing a party. Bimbo Brian wants to know, what is the capital of Ecuador? Without looking it up, I'm gonna say the capital of Ecuador is Monte Carlo. Now you have to look it up to find out if I'm right. Positive MA117 or Rachel on Twitter asks for my worst work-related injury. I have been lucky, touch wood, cross fingers, very lucky that I haven't had any major stuff go wrong considering what I do. I think the worst injury I've had was a straitjacket escape. Oh, actually, no, I just remembered two now. The one I was going to talk about was my teeth, but we'll talk about the other one first, then we'll get to the teeth. In York, in the UK, I was tied up in the straitjacket with the chains. I slipped on a slippery stair and came down with my back to the edge of a concrete step in the jacket and then cracked my head on the top step. I ended up having to get someone, one of the other buskers there, a very good friend of mine, the York fire eater, Andy. He had to unlock the padlocks and get the chain off of me and help me to undo the straitjacket. I then spent the next couple of days just laying in bed, icing my back on a whole bunch of painkillers before having to go to a physio and get a whole bunch of massages to sort myself out. Luckily, didn't break anything, but that was probably the scariest, like the most dramatic injury, but the worst as far as cost involved to fix and blood and all of that was a straitjacket and chain escape. It's very dangerous, who knew? But I was tied up in the straitjacket and chain, and I was jumping around to try and get a little, to do the escape. The end of the chain that wasn't padlocked, so they padlocked it kind of in the middle, and then the ends were flapping around, and one flapped around the side and just smashed me across the teeth and shattered. So most of these front teeth are fake. It's just shattered a whole bunch of my teeth. mid-show. And as I was still in a straitjacket, I couldn't end the show there. I still had to get out. So I kind of just kept my mouth shut, which is very hard for me to do. Kept my mouth shut for the rest of the show so that blood and bits of teeth didn't go everywhere. So they're actually both pretty traumatic now that I think about them. I might need to go to therapy. On Discord, Gavin Light 2018 asks, how long have you been a YouTuber for? Well, if you check out all the information on the YouTube channel, you will see that I started the YouTube channel in 2013, I think, or 2014. I had a whole bunch of really bad performing videos. One of which is still up, which is a sword swallow from World Sideshow Day. It was me and 4 other sword swallowers sword swallowing out the front of a tent during the Adelaide Fringe. I also had some fire spinning stuff, the power drill, lobotomy video, a few other small clips that I chucked up on YouTube, but I didn't start doing regular content and didn't start doing gaming content until end of May, start of April 2018. So the gaming part of the channel is only about a year old, but the channel itself is about 6 years old. Also on Instagram, QandRep asks, how are you today, man? And how's the new house? I'm doing pretty good today, thanks. And the new house is empty. This will be our office. So this will be the new studio. I don't know if we're gonna set up in that corner or what we're gonna do, but at least we have a little bit more of a view that looks out that way now. So it's empty. That's all it is. It's just empty. That's how the new house is. Empty. On the Discord server, So Crazy Goat asks for my favorite and my most hated movie. Favorite movie is Emperor's New Groove. That movie is freaking amazing. I think I would have watched it at least 50, 60, 70 times, easily that amount, and I love it. I never get sick of it. It's one of my most quoted movies that I quote. My most hated movie is a little bit harder to answer because there's a lot of movies that I've just walked out of or I've turned off because I'm bored or I'm just not interested at all. So I think it's kind of hard to say what my most hated movie is from a fair point of view without having watched all of it. I think my least favorite movie that I've watched all of would have to be The Notebook. I don't care what you say, and I know Ryan Gosling is a sweetheart and is adorable, but I don't care. I did not like that movie at all, except for the fact that he says he wants pancakes. And I never get that quote right. Whenever I try to quote it to wifey, never get it right. And that is why it's my most hated movie. Because if I want to get the quotes right, I need to watch it again, and I don't want to watch it again. Malachi Frost asks, what stupid way are you going to end the video? Like this.